Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, Practical Rebel, and the wind did a number on my hair. It was brisk out there today. That's okay though. That kind of wakes you up. It's invigorating. So I hope you all are having a good weekend. And let's just start with a couple of nice deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Cindy, my fellow traveler. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just shaking it off a bit. Feeling the kinks. I am feeling sore. The amount of jumping around that we've been doing the last 3 days has been phenomenal. I am down 4 pounds. I'm sure most of it's water. Thank you for the hearts, Carolyn. I appreciate it. Not that I haven't been drinking water like a camel, but holy cow. Believe cup. Yes, yes, yes. So, what I was muscle testing to see, okay, is it a card deck today? Is it our book? Those both tested weak, and I'm like, okay. Am I dehydrated? Because sometimes if you're dehydrated, the muscle testing isn't clear. Drank a bunch of water, waited a little bit, tested some more. Nope, no card deck, no book. So I thought I tested another book. Nope. A book that's on the shelf. Nope. Some of the stuff that I'm learning from Tony Robbins. Nope. It's like, okay, what the heck am I supposed to talk about? And I thought, well, good morning, Peggy. Glad you are here. I'll meditate first. I'll do my Deepak Oprah meditation for the day first, and maybe that will give me some guidance. So I looked to see what today was. Now I got to find it again. Trust your inner knowing. Trust your inner knowing. And I thought, that's it. That's what we're talking about today. So rather than doing a card and rather than doing something out of a book, I'm just going to riff on stepping out of your story and into your inner knowing. Your inner knowing. And one of the things that Deepak said on the meditation for today is that Western culture in particular has really not valued that inner wisdom. We all have that guidance within. When I ask you, what are you pretending not to know? That's what I'm tapping into for you, is that inner wisdom, that part of you that really does know, that really is your inner compass, that really heads you in the direction you are meant to be going. And A, we've not been taught to listen to it. B, our world is so fast that it shoots us right over the top of it unless we do some things to settle into it and hear it. And then the next piece is trusting it. So I want to share with you some trust steps that I've taken over the course of the years that in the moment, standing on that precipice, remember we talked about the terror barrier, that all the good shit is over on the other side of the terror barrier and we really want it. Are we brave enough to step off that precipice and allow the path to come to meet us? Many people are not. Many people are not. I am. I will claim that. I am. So, good morning, Lucy. Glad you are here. Glad you are here. I'll just share some of the ones that have happened in the course of my life. And then I want to talk about my story, the story I was telling myself through my shit-colored glasses that did not serve me. And I'm so grateful for this process that Cindy and I have been doing. Here comes my sister again. The final push. Somewhere in the world, 40,000 people are exhausted. Yes, this has been an intense 4 days. An intense 4 days. And valuable. So incredibly valuable. I've always found Tony Robbins stuff very valuable. This is actually the first immersion thing that I've done. I mean, I've read his books since the late 80s. participated in, some stuff, but this is like my first immersion thing. And so we'll talk about that as we go. So step out of your story and into your inner knowing. And so Cindy's talking about the brand of Christianity she grew up in. You weren't told to listen to your heart. Good morning, Diane. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. I think someone else slipped through here. So, yes, very exhausted. I slept like a rock, and I'm probably going to need an adjustment sometime this week. But it's such good stuff. Someone posted that within 2 hours of us starting yesterday, she had already done 14,000 steps. Her little Fitbit told her it was 14,000 steps. They don't let us sit around. We're standing up. We're doing stuff. We're getting ourselves into a high peak state, because from there we then can act, and act with power. And now we're adding in the inner wisdom, the guidance. We know what to do. We do know what to do. And we need to listen to this. So step out of your story and into your inner knowing. So let's just take a couple of nice deep breaths. I want you to put your hands on your heart. And I'm going to ask my famous question. What are you pretending not to know? And allow it to come into focus. And know that you don't have to act on it. You don't have to act on it. But I want you to own it. I want you to honor that your intuition is telling you this, whatever it's telling you. And I'll tell you what mine is. But your intuition is telling you this. And you can take a look at, what are the costs of me not listening to this? What are the costs? And one of the things that Tony Robbins said yesterday was, how many of us stayed in a relationship way longer than we should have? For me, it was about 5 years. But we had little kids and et cetera, et cetera. So, but when do you listen to it? When do you listen to it? Do you wait? I have someone who's very near and dear to me. This is not a family member. This is someone else who just contacted me and let me know she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And for me, observing, this is her wake-up call. This is yet another huge wake-up call. Your body is in dis-ease. And what are you pretending not to know? What are you pretending not to know? This is an opportunity for her, a huge opportunity. And I hope to have the privilege of being of support to her as she walks this path. So, stepping out of your story, what do you tell yourself about you? What do you tell yourself about you that really isn't true? It's a lie. And so Tony Robbins had us do an exercise yesterday, and we picked out 3 of them. And again, these things are usually from childhood. We pick them up. Yes, you can be happy. Yes, you can be happy. And let's shift it into present moment. This is something Tony Robbins tends not to do, but I'm going to shift it into present moment. I am happy. I am happy. Claim it. Even if things in your world aren't perfect, even if things aren't within how you'd like them to be yet, claim it. I am happy. The more we claim it for ourselves, the more we live it. The more we live it. So he had us pick out 3 of those stories we tell ourselves, 3 of those stories we carry with us. And I've done this work in other ways before, but this was really powerful. He calls it the Dickens process. So you can probably Google it and find some information on it. I would highly encourage any of you to do a Tony Robbins process. Now with the COVID stuff and things being online, it's so much more accessible. We don't have to travel to California. We don't have to, whatever. Much more accessible. And I'm sure many of you are going to say, oh, but the money. I'll tell you my story with that. So the 3 I picked out this round were, I am too much. I am too much. I have often been told, you're too loud, sit down, Bonnie, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're shining too bright, basically was the message. So I am too much. And then the next one was, I am not enough. I tell you, this stuff doesn't have to make sense. It's just crap we took on. It's someone else's story for us, and we owned it. time to not own it. Time to hand that crap back, right? So I am too much. I am not enough. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Cindy's loading stuff up from YouTube for people to watch later. I am too much. I am not enough. And I am too afraid. I am too afraid. Those were my three. Okay? And the last one, I have really, in my life, I've made quite a few decisions, and I'll tell you about them in a moment, that pushed me face to face with all that fear. One of the most recent ones was the buying of the motel. I had a partner at that point. He and I were going to do this thing together. You know, he was going to handle all the mechanical stuff, blah, 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 right? A month before we moved, he freaked and ran. A month. And I sat with myself and I said, do I want to do this anyway? And I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? I don't know all this stuff. Plumbing and electrical, and the motel has a boiler system, for God's sake. I know nothing about boilers. I can now bleed a radiator. I can, I know how to reset the thing, blah, blah, blah. So my answer to me was yes, I still want to do this. And the people that I need to support me will show up when I need them. So I took that step forward in faith and trust, and it's worked out fabulously. Good morning, Cheryl. Glad you are here. Going to graduate school. I didn't even know what graduate school was. I had no idea. Good morning, Maureen. And I was going to go to Montana. Where the hell's Montana, right? But my heart told me this is the right step to take. This is the right step to take. So I signed the documents and went, I have no idea how the hell I'm going to do this. I have no idea how I'm even going to pay for it. Didn't matter. I signed up. I showed up. I did it. Many, many, many things like this. When I started my first outpatient mental health clinic, one of the psychiatrists at the place where I was working said, you're never going to be successful. You'll fail. You'll be back within a year. 16 years later, I sold the practice to someone else. Don't tell me what I can't do. That's always been in me, even from a little kid. My mother said she had to steer me around by the head because I was too busy paying attention to everything else and not following the rules, which is why we are all now practical rebels. You are here for a reason. You are one of my practical rebels, okay? So, changing those statements. I am too much became my light is beautiful. Yes, it's bright and it kind of blinds some people, but my light is beautiful. I am not enough. I am star stuff. I am star stuff. All right? I am too afraid. I am brave. I am brave. Yes, I don't take no for an answer. I'm not good at no. That doesn't work for me. Let's talk about how can we. And that's certainly going to be a part of this process of creating the intentional community. It's certainly going to be a part of that. And thank you, Cindy. And so one of the things, many of the things I'm going to say to people this coming Friday when I have my talk, and I think there's 19 people coming so far, we'll see, is I'm going to say, we'll need to be brave to do this. We'll need to step into how can we, because building an intentional community violates a lot of the rules. We're not plunking one house on one lot. We're plunking 20 to 30 houses on a lot. And we're creating a different kind of a community. We're creating a connection where people give a shit about their neighbors. Like today I'm aware. I haven't seen my neighbor across the street. I don't know his phone number. If I don't see him for a little while yet, I'm going to be knocking on his door. Hey, Harry, you okay? A lot of neighborhoods aren't like that anymore. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to giving a shit about people. See, I knew I didn't need a card. I could riff on this stuff for a long time. So, the leap I'm taking today, you all can bear witness to my leap. All 8 of you. 8's my favorite number. I love 8. It's infinity. It's just so cool. It's such a great number. I've always loved 8. So, the leap I'm taking today is I've been living with my dad. I'm taking care of my dad. I'm not going to be leaving here until he leaves this planet, probably. We'll see. My sister may step in. We'll see how this all plays out. But Again, that's one of the pieces that lets me know intentional community is important. Had my father not had a bunch of kids, there wouldn't be someone to be here, so he can be here, right? As people get to the point where they can't be in their homes anymore because there aren't support people around. My friend Jerry, her poor son was in San Diego, and he was trying to care for her here. It doesn't work. Had she been in an intentional community, we would have taken care of her. We would have gone over, we would have made sure she had her pills, whatever. We can do this for people. We can take good care of people. And it's not much skin off one person's nose if there's 20 other people there who can assist, right? I'll come and read her the newspaper. You come and wash her hair. I'll come and bring her a meal. I'm going to sit and talk to her for a while. I'll take her to her doctor appointment. You know, you spread that out over 20 people, it's much more doable. Much more doable. And it allows that person to stay vibrant and vital and in their own space for a long time. The architect who fired me up on all this stuff says on average 10 years people can stay in a home 10 years longer. Does that mean every one of them gets to pass away in their home? Probably not. There's probably still some who end up in a facility of some sort, but 10 years later, so, and vital and vibrant in the interim. So stepping out of your story and stepping into your inner knowing. So yesterday, because I just got my tax return back, and there's capital gains on the motel, and I no longer qualify for the what is that thing called? My retirement funds. Because of how much money I made this past year, I can't submit funds into this. So now I got to take the funds out and do something else with them. Whatever. All this technical crap, right? That's why I have an accountant. But so I have been. I'm going to be kicking this up a notch. So I'll plant the seed with all of you. Now there's 9 of you. Hello. I kind of took a step back from my coaching practice because I moved. I'm establishing a routine here with Dad. I'm stepping into clearing clutter because we still have a ton of stuff here. Thus the rummage sales, because that's what he's comfortable with. But I stepped back a little bit from the coaching practice, so I've been doing a handful of people a week, and that's been fine. But I decided I'm doing a next step with this Tony Robbins stuff. They have basically it's a $10,000 program, coaching program. All of us need guidance. All of us. I don't care. Best coach in the world. I'll bet you nickel Tony Robbins has a coach. So for $10,000, I get 3 more events, plus a free ticket for another one of the ones I'm doing, and some coaching, which is fabulous. Do I have cash in hand for that? Yes, it's been set aside for taxes, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care, because the money will come. The money will come. That's the same with the motel. When it was going to be 2 of us, that was one thing. When it was going to be me, it's like, okay, I had to come up with it. I had to make this shit happen, right? The most expensive coaching program I ever bought for myself, I ever invested in for myself, was $40,000 for a year. If you swallowed your tongue, dig it back out. My coach, that coach, had paid $100,000 for a coaching program for 1 year. And she had to travel. She had to travel to California, where that particular coach was located. Blew her business out of the water. I'm sure this will yield fabulous results. But it's, again, standing on that precipice, looking down, going, okay, am I willing to take the step off the edge and allow the process to support me? As Rhonda Byrne talks about in The Secret, when you ask and you believe, the universe will move people, places, and things to make stuff happen. Now, oftentimes we have a story that gets in the way. I don't deserve, I'm not good enough, all that other crap. Thank you. All that other crap that we tell ourselves. And so it's so important and so helpful to take the gigantic roto-rooter and dig out that junk. Dig out that junk. It is not who you are. If you've been told you don't deserve, that is bullshit. If you've been told you're not good enough, that is bullshit. All right? So one of the things I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an offer. I haven't come up with what it's going to be yet, but I'm going to create an offer for my own coaching services that's then going to fund that. So maybe it's, I don't know, I'll make something up. Maybe it's, 8 people purchasing a package of coaching sessions that's a discounted rate from what I usually do. Usually I do my birthday special in May. I may or may not do my birthday special. This may be what I do instead. Or maybe I'll do this to fund my program, and then I'll do the birthday special. I don't know. I haven't been guided yet by the inner wisdom, but I will be. And you will be too. You will be too. Please practice listening within. Develop a routine in your morning. If evening works better for you, fine. I am not an owl. I am a lark, obviously. Listen to what your body's telling you about what you need, where you need to go, what you need to do, what precipices you need to step off of. All right? So again, this is a stepping out of our story and into our inner wisdom, our inner guidance. This is so important to develop. So important to develop. So my mission for you today is I want you to spend 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you can do this. We can all do hard things in silence. Pick a place. I mean, you may have to go sit in your car. Go sit in your car out in the parking lot. 10 minutes of silence. And I want you to just listen within. And you're going to fidget. And you're going to turn the radio on. And you're going to look at your phone. 10 minutes of silence. Just being with yourself. And then I'd like you to come back to this page. Yes, 10 minutes in silence. You can do it. You can do it. Go, little buckaroo. We can all do this stuff. Yes, craving the silence, because within that silence is all the guidance we need. All the guidance we need. So, that is your mission for today. Should you choose to accept it, I would love to have you come back to this page and talk about what... You're welcome, Carolyn. You're welcome. Talk about what happened in your silence, what you learned. If all you hear is 10 minutes of crickets, so be it. Show up. Do your practice. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye.